Hey guys, Fiero GT and welcome to this next video segment series called Fiero, out of all things. Now I know a lot of y'all have probably asked, why in the world is your YouTube channel named Fiero 880? And basically a long time ago I was really into Fieros. So my first Fiero, I had an 84 white automatic. It was plain, it was, you know, a simple little Fiero. Had to do some work to it to fix it up. But I had a really bad accident in it. It was my fault, and I didn't like Fieros. I was kind of scared of them. I said I would never drive one again. Then later on down the road, when I was about 19 or 20, I was working as a cable technician and found an 85 white Fiero parked in somebody's backyard that had electrical problems. Long story short, basically the positive cable was grounding out to the block. I got it for a really good price. I got it fixed up, and that was my daily driver for a couple of years. So during that time, I was looking for a parts car for my 85. I figured that would be the best way in case I needed additional parts and stuff. And a buddy that I was working with at the time said he had a wrecked 84 in his farm pasture that I could have for $200. All I would need to do is bring a wrecker. So I called a wrecker, met him out there one night, and as I'm walking up to the car, I'm trying to figure out why it has GT front bumper and a GT back bumper, and why it's got quad exhaust and a wing on the back of it. An 84 didn't have that. Come to find out, it was a wrecked Indianapolis pace car replica Fiero that he had sitting in his pasture for all this time. I bought it for $200, and that's when I met Ed Parks from the Fiero factory many years ago. Ed actually had found out where I lived through the message board and came up one Saturday night and had a check in his hands ready to buy the Fiero, and that was the way we bought our first couch many years ago. Now the 880 part is basically my wife's birthday, 8/8/1980. I drove around the 85 for about probably 2 years. Then I moved up, traded for different cars and so forth, and basically got out of the Fiero scene. And over the past maybe 4 or 5 years, I've been looking for a Fiero just to either fix up or maybe have around and have some fun with, kind of getting the Fiero bug back again. And then of course, if you know Ronald Finger's YouTube channel on YouTube, his videos that he's working on this red 84 Fiero, his videos have been absolutely incredible. So that was it. Ronald Finger's YouTube videos was the final straw. So I started looking really, really closely of some Fieros locally for sale. The first Fiero was about probably 25-30 minutes away from me. It was a black and silver car. I'm going to try to show some pictures while I talk about it. And his asking price was $1,750. The problem is it's in really poor condition. It's got over 177,000 miles on it. And he said the shift cable went out. The shift cable went out, and he burnt the clutch getting it home, and then it's been parked ever since. This one here is, I mean, it's in rough condition, and for $1,750, you'll have way too much money into it by the time it's all said and done. So then was the number 2 Fiero that was down in Murrells Inlet, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina area. That's about 4 hours from where we live here in upstate South Carolina. He also wanted $1,750, but he changed his asking price just out of the blue one day to $1,250. So I went ahead and gave him a call to ask him what was wrong with it. And basically he said he had had some major health problems. I think he had 2 heart attacks, he had cancer, and he parked it. He bought it back in 1990 and has had it ever since, but it's been probably sitting for at least 15 years. I was kind of hoping maybe there was some little exaggeration there, maybe it wasn't that bad because the pictures make it look pretty good. So I went ahead and made him an offer. I found a person here locally in Simpsonville to transport the car from Murrells Inlet to Simpsonville for $350. So I just heard from the guy who's transporting the Fiero. He will be here in about maybe 10 minutes or less. Here it is, folks. That doesn't look bad at all. Not at all. It's typical to see the exterior turn chalky like that. How you doing?
Hey.
Not too bad. Not too bad at all.
Said he blew the radiator hose.
Yeah.
And again, it was probably rough, just probably the wire.
Right. So what you want to do on this, pull it up and then go back down.
Oh, okay.
All right. So as you can tell with the Fiero coming off the trailer, it had several misfires. So basically I had my son start it and stop it while I pulled the plug wires off the cap, distributor cap, and we realized we had cylinder 2 and 4 were fouled out. So we went ahead and took the deck lift off, taking there's 2 bolts on each side, and we were able to unfoul these spark plugs and get them running again. And here is the Fiero now starting for the first time on 6 cylinders. Now the biggest issue that the previous owner had said is he had busted a radiator or coolant hose. He had thought it was the lower hose below, where it's below the water pump, but in fact it was a heater hose right here. So one of the biggest problems that I've run into with this Fiero, and I haven't documented every single step because it's been probably 2 or 3 weeks since I bought the Fiero, and I probably have 70 hours of actual time working on it. Luckily, the season has slowed down for the photography business, and I was able to take that free time and spend it on a Fiero. The biggest problems that I've been running into is every single system. When he said it had been sitting for 15 years, he was not lying. Every system, every coolant line, the thermostat, both the radiator cap and the thermostat cap, there's all the spark plugs, the battery, every system has had to be completely gone through on this car just to make it drivable. In the video with it coming off the trailer, you could tell that the battery was not starting the engine correctly. And basically the battery had a bad cell in it. It was putting out 10.5 volts, but it had plenty of cranking amps to turn the engine over. So I've got a new battery. I have a new coolant line going here down to the coolant line pipe. I've got a new thermostat cap, a new thermostat. We've got spark plugs, brand new spark plugs. The wires are in great condition. At some time, these were changed. Now also the engine was much, much dirtier than this. The engine has been completely purple powered and it still is dirty. The EGR line had to be fixed. It has got a new coolant sensor in it. It has also got a new fan sensor down there as well. The air cleaner assembly, I'm trying to work on getting another one or possibly getting the rust off of that. The idle air control motor right here was all gummed up and dirty. So I cleaned the throttle body and cleaned the idle air control valves, so that works correctly. This light was broken right here and missing, and the wires started to short out on the body ground behind this carpet. This carpet was fully removed, cleaned, purple powered, let out to dry, and that's also been put in. I just barely painted these really quickly, the engine louvers and stuff. Almost all the light bulbs were shot on the tail lights and stuff, so I got all new light bulbs on the back of the car. The GT badge was also cracked and really pitted really bad, so that's been changed. You couldn't even see the stainless or chrome tips on the exhaust, so those have been cleaned and so forth. It's also got a new coolant line going from the lower pipe of the engine to the front pipe of the radiator. And the biggest issues I had was the tires. The best that I could tell from the documentation, The tires that were on this car, if you can possibly see it with it coming off the trailer, they were well over 25 years old and they were severely dry rotted. So I was able to get a nice set of Uniroll Tiger Paws from Discount Tires for $358 installed. The master cylinder has been rebuilt. It's got new radiator hoses, both front or upper and lower. This headlight motor has been rebuilt. I'm waiting for a gear for that headlight motor. I have now got the windshield washer fluid reservoir fixed. It had a crack in it. There was a light bulb burnt out here. Had to replace the heater core. The heater core was leaking really bad. The headliner was also completely shot, so I took the headliner pad down and had the material replaced. I started working on the rear glove box and also some of the trim. I did get this put back together a little bit better. All the light bulbs, there was maybe 1 or 2 light bulbs for the illumination working for the dash. So all the light bulbs have been changed here and also on the radio stack as well. Got the steering wheel cleaned up. The dashboard was chalky as can be. In fact, it still has some chalk to it. And basically that's from the sun baking out the materials from the dashboard. The seats are ripped. I've got Fiero seat covers coming in. Should be here any day for those. And then also the power window motors are extremely slow. And all the weather stripping, the weather seals for the windows are shot. I actually have brand new motors sitting inside the house waiting to be put on. And yeah, as you can see, I've got brand new rubber for all the windows also waiting to be put on. Another thing that's got to be fixed and replaced is the door hinge. The pin bushings are completely shot, so I've got a hinge kit inside the house also ready to be installed, and that will fix the door closer. Now, something very unique. The car looks silver, doesn't it? Well, it's not. It's actually a gold Fiero. That's basically what 15 years outside with nothing cleaning on it will do to it. It basically baked all the paint and turned it into silver. But the car was originally gold. It does have some chips in the fiberglass and paint in certain areas. It also has it in the front right corner. I also took the sunroof off, and this sunroof seal was nasty as can be. So that's been cleaned, but I want to get some new, the Fiero store sells it, new sunroof hardware where it comes with the new bolts and stuff plus the seals, and it will make the sunroof seal a lot better, plus it will stop all the rattles right here. Now, I mentioned about the master cylinder had been rebuilt. There was a major brake problem with the car when we first received it too. If you notice, when he took it off the trailer, he actually backed down really fast. Well, that's because he couldn't stop. The front calipers had been changed at one time and new brake pads have been put on, but I think somebody tried to bleed the system and didn't bleed it right. I've also worked on all 4 calipers to try to kind of freshen them up and stuff, but the rear calipers will need to be rebuilt sometime in the near future. But I now have a working parking brake from getting everything correctly adjusted and stuff. We also got a little main oil seal leak. A little, not terribly bad. But if you're in the driveway or in the garage, you gotta have a little cardboard to put underneath the car so it doesn't get the driveway messed up. think? Not bad for, what, 60, 70, 80 hours? What you see there from when it drives now is unbelievable compared to the day 3 weeks ago or so when we brought it, when it was taken off that trailer. I won't even tell you how much money I've got in it as far as replacement parts. Now it's got a little smoke when you first start it up. Probably just worn valve stem seals and stuff, but it hasn't had an oil change yet. I actually wanted to wait till everything was said and done before changing the oil. The last time the oil change was done in that car was back in 2000, so you've got 19-year-old oil still in that engine. Oil's been ordered. I've got that Valvoline Max Life. I have used that stuff in the past, and it works really, really good with seals, so we'll see what that does. But other than that, guys and girls, thanks again for watching my videos. I know this one is a little bit longer, and I know I didn't film every single piece that was being replaced at the specific time. Otherwise, this video would be like 2 or 3 hours long. But y'all have got to experience the purchase of it and so forth, and what I went through, and you know, getting it home for the first time, running on 4 cylinders and so forth. So thanks again for watching my videos. Click or subscribe up here on the screen, and I promise you we will have some more Fiero stuff coming soon.